What's up, YouTube? Tonight's video is Mega Gardevoir. Now, I made a team around Mega Gardevoir and Pixelate Hyper Beam. What the Pixelate ability is, it pretty much turns normal moves into fairy types and give them a 20% boost. I've got a fire video for you today. I'm going to do a journey of all the Mega Pokemon. We're going to do every single one of them, alright, in this game. Now, what one do you want me to do next? Put it below in the comment section. If you love the videos, you want to support the content, hit that like button and let's get into it. So we got a cool lead here with Simisear and Gallade. This Simisear is a hidden weapon, right? It's really good. So we've got an absolute perfection start here. I smelled a rat a mile away, so we got that fake out on the Incineroar, and we've got a flinch and a pinch on the Renuclear. So absolute perfect start there. Now this Simisear gets fake out, and it gets Taunt, and it gets Helping Hand and Heat Wave. So it's a Pidgeot special, and it works really well. So we're going to taunt that Fetus because I think they're going to go for a Trick Room here. That was my thought process. So going for Sacred Sword on Incineroar, and Incineroar is going to be no more. So that was a really good start to the battle there. Completely outplayed that Incineroar, and the Trick Room fails. That Simisear just walked all over them then. And that's it. They forfeited. So, there you go, guys. That's the first battle. Simisear, you know, you're going to use this in Master Rank and Champions Rank, easy peasy, right? Let's get a like on the video just for that. All right, battle number 2 here. I've got a mix of doubles and casual and rank today as usual. I like to mix it up. Okay, so Gallade and Simisear were my first Pokemon. These were all part of my whole team. Now, as usual, I'll show my entire team throughout the video, you know, the items, everything, the breakdown, so if you want to try it out, you can. So we got a Ninetales and Whimsicott lead here. Now, Whimsicott, I'm thinking, well, that's a Tailwind and a Veil, but this is tough because I really want to stop both of them, but I can't. So I have to make a choice. Do I want to go, you know, do I want to get outsped for the next 4 turns, or do I want my hits to do no damage? I'm thinking about this a lot. This Gallade set was actually kind of fun. It was like an anti-lead set. So you had like Upper Hand for fake out Pokemon. Now, I have to say one thing about Upper Hand. Upper Hand actually gets countered by fake out still if the Pokemon's speed is faster, because they are actually in the same bracket of speed, which in my opinion is really silly. It should actually be above fake out. But, you know, say if a Sneasler uses fake out, it'll still outspeed you. Anyway, Whimsicott is going to get his cheek slapped, and, well, at least there's no Tailwind, right? So the Veil got set up by the Ninetales, so I had to pick one or the other, and that was the choice I made here. This is a max speed Simisear and max special attack too, if you're curious. Focus Sash Blaze, and that, you know, the Heat Wave, it drops pretty hard. So we got an Incineroar here. Now, I was like, well, I'll go for Upper Hand on the Incineroar. I love Upper Hand, it's such a great move. Now, I've got Heat Wave, and I thought I'll get some damage on Ninetales is better than nothing, at least Incineroar will be flinched. So if you don't know what Upper Hand is, it's a anti-priority move. So if you know the opponent is using a priority move, you use Upper Hand and it 100% flinches the opponent. So in my opinion, it's really funny, right? Because Upper Hand to me is a direct counter to fake out, but yet has the same priority as fake out. It doesn't make sense. It should be like one more and then protects above it. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? I think it's pretty weird. Anyway, so we've got a nice fat Heat Wave, and we got a Farigiraf coming in. Now, this is bad. Now, I was thinking here, this thing may set up Dragon Dance because they've got the Veil. They've got a pretty soft matchup here with Simisear. And Gallade, I actually wasn't running Leaf Blade on this at all, so I'm not going to do too much to it, really. I've got Sacred Sword for a bit of damage, and that's, you know, I'm not really concerned about the Incineroar. So going for Taunt on Farigiraf anyway, just in case it does go for D-Dance. I'd be very scared if it does. I got a Sacred Sword off here, and it did, you know, a little bit of damage. Now, the cool thing about Gallade, too, is with Sacred Sword, it can ignore all those defense drops. So, you know how Archaludon actually gets all those stamina boosts, right? You can just nuke it, right? And it just ignores them. So, Incineroar's going to go for a parting shot on Gallade there, which wasn't all that bad. They're going to try that again a little bit later. So, remember that interaction that I had with them just then? Upper Hand and fake out. So they know what's going on there, right? They've got that burn into their mind. So just remember that. So now we've got the Ninetales coming in here. I've still got a lead at the moment, but you know, Simisear is on its way out. Now this Gallade set, I was thinking, could be useful with Memento. Memento can be quite a, quite a good play if you do it at the right time. It can actually set up your incoming Pokemon. But I didn't want to quite do that yet because I had a bit of health left. I was like, well, Ninetales is probably just going to go for Blizzard. It may single me out with a Moonblast, but I thought I'll just go Heat Wave. I'm pretty sure I'm just going to get rid of this Simisear here. Its use is sort of over. So here we go. We got the Feraligatr. Now, I'm going to say this, and most people agree with me, that toilet seat thing should go on top of Feraligatr's head, and we should have said the big red Totodile. Come on, what were they thinking? Like, real talk. All right, so that's the end of Simisear. It's going to faint there. But, sometimes you get good leads, sometimes you don't. We're going to go for Psycho Cut. Scope Lens is my item. Psycho Cut has a crit chance. Bye-bye Feraligatr. Beautiful stuff there by Gallade. Now, the stage is set here for Gardevoir to come in here. So I thought, well, I've got this Morsold here, this support Morsold, and I've got my Gardevoir. So this is going to be a Pixelate Gardevoir. Now, I'm going to try and get as many Hyper Beam KOs as possible, right? I've also got a Hyper Voice on there and Expanding Force. So I've got some spread moves and just one massive nuke move. Now, with Hyper Beam, I didn't really want to use it while the Veil was up because that would be bad. And generally, it's not that good a move unless you use it in the right situation, right? That's where Morsoul comes in. That could free Gardevoir up a little bit, but more on that later. So we got to get rid of this Ninetales, right? This is a big problem. It can freely spam Blizzard, and we know that Incineroar has got Fake Out as well here. So I bet you they're not going to Fake Out now because they know that I've got upper hand. So what I'm going to do, since it's their last two Pokemon, I'm going to go Memento on Ninetales, drop their stats, and go from there. So as I suspected, Incineroar knows that I've got upper hand. If you remember earlier on, I flinched them with it, so they obviously didn't want anything to do with that again. And yeah, this is really good because now it's not like they can swap out their Pokemon. So excellent play with the Gallade there. This little Gallade set worked pretty nicely. It's like, it's got its main stab moves and stuff, but a couple of good support moves too, was useful. So now we got Dankus Lariat there, but I went for protection, and protection is good. You block out a lot of things. Now, we got leftovers on that Incineroar, so it's back to full health. The Veil's gone, so now the stage is set. So I've got Morsoul here. Now, I believe I've used this Morsoul a couple of times here. I may have adjusted the set a little bit, but it's pretty much the same. So I've got Protect, Follow Me, After You, and Super Fang. Now, I thought this would be a good idea to go for the Mega here. I can go for Hyper Voice, right? So this is going to be, doing some really good damage. The only thing about that is with Follow Me, Blizzard's still going to hit both Pokemon, right? So I'm pretty much just redirecting the Incineroar's attacks. So Morsoul's going to go for that Follow Me, and we're going to become the center of attention, redirecting all the attacks, apart from the spread move, like, Blizzard and stuff like that. So Blizzard does very little damage, thanks to the Gallade. If I didn't have that, I would have been in a lot of trouble, and they're taking massive damage at the moment. Now, another little thing too, the move After You, I didn't get to use it as much as I probably would have liked in today's video, so I'll probably use it again a lot in another one. What After You does, if you are curious, basically you use After You and select the target. Say if I had a really slow Pokemon, say, what's a real slow Pokemon? A Rampardos, right? Then I had a really fast Pokemon like Morsoul. Morsoul, I believe, is the fastest After You user in the game at the moment. You make the next Pokemon go straight after you. So, Morsoul, Rampardos. Morsoul, after you on Rampardos. Rampardos uses Rock Slide. Get a nice flinch, right? So, stuff like that. Cool little double strategies. So, at the moment, I'm just redirecting attacks. This is a Friend Guard set too, so it is bulky, plus the Memento I put down on that Ninetales. The only thing I was worried about was like a freeze. That would be kind of nasty. So, going for Expanding Force here, you could probably tell what I'm doing now. I didn't go for Hyper Voice. We are now locked in to finish off this Incineroar with a nice fat Hyper Beam. It's ready to go. I've been waiting here. The cool thing about this is you can use this as a nuke, like just in case you need to get a Pokemon out of the way, just nuke them. So it's even more powerful than, say, a Sylveon one. I do have Sylveon on this team, but this is like, Sylveon's like small time compared to this. This does a lot of damage. So Morsoul is on his last legs here. I'm ready to go. We've got the Hyper Beam. I'm locked in, ready for that juicy W. And we're waiting on them. We got that communicating screen rolling around a bit. Like they're probably going to forfeit now. And we got that Follow Me off there, which is good. So we got the follow me off. Here comes the Hyper Beam. And it's going to come out. This animation looks absolutely awesome. And it's sent. Oh, my goodness. That was complete destruction. So that is the end of the Incineroar. Man, that worked out well. MVPs of this team, you got to admit that Gallade actually won me the battle. Real time. I mean, I know Gardevoir did the damage, but Gallade truly set me up there for the W. Beautiful stuff. And Simisage as well, doing well for the speed. So going pretty well. I thought it'd be fun to use Gallade and Gardevoir on the same team. All right, next battle here. I started with Gallade and Gardevoir this time. It's funny because Gallade actually covers a lot of Gardevoir's weaknesses, which is really cool. So we trace Prankster there, and interesting. And we've got Whimsicott and Gardevoir. So I'm like, this is going to be, it's a family feud. It's going to be Mega Gardevoir versus Mega Gardevoir, right? So I'm thinking what I'm going to do here. I'm like, do I go for straight up Psycho Cut to get rid of Whimsicott? And then Hyper Voice to get rid of Whimsicott, you know, that sort of thing? Or do I protect? I'm not really sure. There's going to be no like annoying priority moves or anything like that either. Now, one thing you can do with Gardevoir, with the trace ability, you can sometimes use it outside of its Mega, say before you attack. So say if you traced a really good ability, say I had a battle once and it was a Sun team, right? And then I traced the Venusaur's Chlorophyll and Charizard Y went for its Mega and I got Chlorophyll and out its Feather. It was very funny. So, you know, you can take advantage of things like that before you Mega Evolve. All right, so we got the, I don't know, I think I like the, I still think I like the shiny better. The black ball dress looks pretty cool. We're going to go for some attacking moves here. So Whimsicott's gone for a taunt, which is interesting. Maybe they thought I'd try and set up here. I just screamed at them and got some pretty good damage there. So we're going to go for Psycho Cut and end that Whimsicott. I don't want to deal with that prankster BS, you know. It's really annoying, right? It's like Tailwind, all that sort of stuff. So instead of going for Hyper Voice, this one actually goes for Icy Wind. So I was like, oh, so they're trying to get some speed control here, which makes me think maybe they didn't have Tailwind. Or maybe they did, but you wouldn't really go for Icy Wind if you had Tailwind, right? I don't know. So the Whimsicott's gone. Now we got Garchomp. Now Garchomp, I mean, Garchomp is somewhat of a counter, but I can, in terms of speed. But as soon as I lay a fairy move on it, it's gonna be lights out, right? Now I can't use Protect here because I got taunted, so I thought I might just dip out here at the moment, and I could go into the Monkey. Now sometimes, like, you could make a clutch play with the Simicy. You could like swap it into, like, say a super effective move like Earthquake, get that Sash, and then get that Blaze Heat Wave, and it actually dropped really, really hard. The Pimp Knight special Blaze Heat Wave did pretty nicely. So going into the Monkey, no monkeying around here. Here comes Rock Slide. So I went for the Rock Slide. It nearly put me on 1 health. It was very close. And I was like, are they going to go for Hyper Voice this time? What are they going to do? So some big damage there, and we got Hyper Voice. So like, okay, this is bad. This is very, very bad. So I just lost Gallade and Simicia there. I didn't want those speed drops either, or that speed drop. So now I'm in a difficult position. So I've got a Rock Slide Garchomp, and I've got 2 Pixelate Pokemon left. So I thought it'd be funny to use these 2 at the same time, because you could go Hyper Voice and then Hyper Voice. Okay. Now, Sylveon is a Fairy Feather set. We got Hyper Voice, Misty Explosion, Quick Attack, and Mystical Fire. So Quick Attack was just to get rid of the scumbags on 1 HP, with the Sash. And then we got Misty Explosion. Sometimes I could couple that with like Protect. And I was thinking about it. Trust. Okay, so Rockslide's gonna miss the Sylveon. I was like, so we could do a bit more damage to Gardevoir. I don't know if I really like that or not. And I went for Hyper Voice here. Now, Garchomp is going to get absolutely wrecked. And I did some very, very good damage there to the Gardevoir too. So Gardevoir is on its last legs. And they're trying to get that speed control again. So they're getting the Icy Wind and then the Hyper Voice afterwards. So I know what they're trying to do. So I went for Hyper Voice here, but that's the end of the Gardevoir. So there's 1 Pokemon left here. I was like, oh, this is perfect. I'm getting my laser ready. I'm locking onto the target here. It's King Toilet. It's like, oh no, this is bad. So I'm thinking, who would you go for with the Iron Head? Who would you go for, Kingambit? And I thought, you're gonna go for Gardevoir, because Gardevoir's faster. And I'm going to go Protect, and then I'm going to go Hyper Voice on Sylveon. That way, I'm secured a W there. Because if they go for Sylveon, then Gardevoir is going to hit them with a much harder attack. And they did Icy Wind me, so Sylveon's going to be slower, right? So that was my thought process here. So I thought, let's get that protection going. And here we go. Okay, so Gardevoir is going for its Protect. And here comes, this is what I was thinking, here comes the Iron. It has to be. And perfect prediction there at the end. And that one is going to ensure me the W as we scream on the toilet. And yeah, that's it. Kingambit's done. It doesn't matter who it goes for now. I can go for Hyper Voice or Hyper Beam or Misty Explosion. Oh, I actually went for Misty Explosion here, but they forfeited. Damn it, I was going to go for a double one there, but they forfeited. And yeah, a good prediction there at the end there. So let's get on to the next battle. If you're enjoying yourself, hit that like button. Tell me what mega strategy you'd like to see next. I've done a few of them already. You can check the playlist out, be in the comment section. And yeah, this is quite funny, right? I battled this person, and then 5 hours later I battled them, but they had the same team. I'm going to show both, but it was actually the second one was about 10 seconds long, so I'm going to show it both to you. Okay, so we got a Pangoro and we got a Farigiraf, right? Now, I mean, Pangoro isn't exactly what you call threatening with all these fairy type moves. So we got Armor Tail in effect from Farigiraf, so there's no fake out today. But I thought I could at least go for maybe Taunt on Farigiraf, expecting, say, a Trick Room, right? Because a lot of Pokemon try and set that Trick Room up at the beginning. CMSC is good for that, Priority, Taunt, Heat Wave. It's good. I think it's like low-key fun. Okay, so we got a Quick Guard there. Ooh, that's going to stop any... Oh, wait. If they went Quick Guard... Wait, that tells me they didn't have Armor Tail. Yeah, because they wouldn't have gone Quick Guard otherwise. So, obviously, not an Armor Tail set. And I'm going to go for Sacred Sword for some fat damage there. Now, Farigiraf has got the Citrus Berry. Interesting. I wonder what other ability they're running. I know what their ability are, but I'm interested. So we've got that Sacred Sword again. That'll definitely take out Farigiraf. They can't get that Trick Room going either. And I've got Heat Wave ready to go too, which is going to be like super good. Just hits like both opponents and stuff like that. So we got a Swampy into Golurk. And Golurk actually takes it reasonably well. Then again, it's coming from a Simisear, not a Charizard Y. And yeah, they absorb that attack. Here comes the knockoff. Gallade actually is Pangoro's knockoff, but my scope lens is now on the wind, I guess you could say. So now I've got some options. Like, should be able to take out Pangoro, and I've got a helping hand, but do I really want to use that on Gallade? I might be better off just using, Heat Wave. Or at this day, I may be better off swapping, because Golurk could be going for a ground type move like Earthquake, and then, maybe Pangoro or Protect or something like that. So it's either got Kudchu. Wait, it's had Kudchu, wouldn't it? Because it had its berry. So I'd say it'd have Kudchu, not Sap Sipper. I think Sap Sipper's really going to wait. So we got a Mega Golurk there. And Mega Golurk is going to use Protection. I mean, that Protect only really covered, like, its stomach. Pangoro is going to unleash the beast. It's got Bullet Punch. So that's the end of my Gallade there. That's useful for Fairy-type Pokemon, so I can see where they got that. I went for the Heat Wave here. Now, Pangoro is going to take the full load here. Here it comes. And pretty good damage there. That's a bulky set. Man, that's bulky. I guess I wasn't in Blaze range either. So I've got Sylveon, which does have quick attack with no attack EVs and stuff like that. But I wanted to leave Gardevoir to the end too. I had a plan. Now, with this, I've got Misty Explosion. I thought, this could get me back into the game. Because I've got Sash. Should we give it a go? I was like, I think I'm down at the moment. I'm going to give it a go. Sometimes you got to take a risk, to get a W. So we're going to go for that helping hand on Sylveon. We're going to boost up Misty Terrain's base power. Obviously, Pangoro's entire family tree is fainting. Here comes a Bullet Punch. Did a pretty good amount of damage there. Now, I know that I possibly will outspeed Golurk because it's very slow too. So go for Misty Explosion there. It's a massive boom. Oh, so close. Oh, man, I was hoping that would take out both Pokemon. It was that close. Sylveon is going to faint there, and Golurk hangs on by a thread of health, which did come back to haunt me. So here comes the Headlong Rush, and that's put my Simisear down. So you know, Simisear would actually withstood the Misty Explosion, and, you know, the plan was to have Gardevoir and Simisear at the end, you know. It was a very, very bold plan, and I almost pulled it off too. So Golek's got 1 health left, and I've got my Gardevoir left. And they've still got 3 Pokemon. Like, man, this is going to be a tall order to get rid of 3 Pokemon with Gardevoir. My only saving grace here is to go for Hyper Voice and hit them both, you know. So I haven't Mega'd yet either. And I know that I can outspeed both of them. So I thought, well, is Farigiraf really going to go for a Trick Room here, like as insurance, or are they going to try and just straight up attack me? I have a feeling they're going to go for Trick Room because their Pokemon was all slow. So, you know, in case anything happened, they could get that Trick Room set up. Okay. So I got that. I put on my my ball dress. Here comes the Protect from Golek. That doesn't really matter at all. That's actually worse than them, you know, because that means it's going to take that's going to take a lot of damage. So there we go, and Farigiraf, that's down. So that's good. No Trick Room. So they tried to conserve that Golek. So I know that I can outspeed Golek, which is totally fine. Now they've got 1 more Pokeball left. And I'm thinking, are they going to send it in? And it was a Snorlax. Snorlax is pretty thick. So I estimated Hyper Voice would probably like a 2-hit KO against it. Depending on what their build is. I'm pretty sure I could live anything from Snorlax except maybe a Self-Destruct. I was like, oh no, he might use Self-Destruct. So I went, just in case I had to attack then, I went for Hyper Voice. So, you know, that took Golek. I'm like, man, if they went for Self-Destruct, this could be bad. But they went for Earthquake. I'm like, all right, that Earthquake did a lot of damage. I have to go for Hyper Beam here. I'm not going to be able to take Snorlax out with a Hyper Voice, right? It's time to lock in for the W. All right, Hyper Voice. Right, sorry, Hyper Beam, not Hyper Voice. Okay. So, judging on the damage that it did with Hyper Voice, this is a very bulky Snorlax. So here it comes. Unleashing it on the Snorlax. Oh, Snorlax just... Bro, like that Golek and that Snorlax got so lucky. Both of them just lived there. So that's the end of my Gardevoir. I did everything I could there, but Gardevoir just lacked the damage there. I think they were pretty low. I want to say there had to be maybe a minimum damage there on one of Misty Explosion or Hyper Voice, but still a good battle. But then I matched up with them 5 hours later, and watch what happened, right? This battle went for 1 second, right? Watch this. It was actually pretty funny. So I seen them again. I'm like, okay, well, we know each other's moves. You know what I mean? So I'll humor them, you know? We'll have another battle here. I was happy with the battle we had earlier on, you know? So I thought I'll swap Gallade out because I think they're going to go for Fake Out. I almost went for Upper Hand, but I was like, well, I wasn't 100% sure whether that was, you know, Armor Tail or not. By that time, I'd actually forgotten his ability. So I went for the Taunt on the Farigiraf, and I think I might have done that last time too. And then they swapped out their Farigiraf. Like, okay, we got Golek coming back in again. And then I started to remember, oh, I battled this person earlier on, and they got 2, like, super, super lucky lives. And, you know, I stuck around for the whole battle, you know, and didn't forfeit. So we got that Hyper Voice, Helping Hand. They got absolutely dumpstered. Like, that's going to be that's going to take both of them out the next turn. And yeah, I'm in a full controller. So 2 Pokemon to go down, and then it's only 2 left after this. We can get a Simisear and a Sylveon sweep, and they forfeited. So there you go. Didn't take me long to beat them. So I feel like they lucked out in I feel like they lucked out in the first battle on some of those damage calcs. Maybe I played a bit risky with Misty Explosion there too. All right, let's get on to the next battle here. Once again, if you enjoy the videos, if you want to see my videos in your recommendations, subscriptions box, all the hoops you got to jump through, you got to leave a like or a comment or both. That tells YouTube you're digging the vids, and they'll send them out to you more. If not, well, you'll go missing. You'll be like, you know, in 10 years' time, you're like, yo, Pimnight, I didn't know you were making videos. You're still making them. I'm like, yeah, I'm still alive, bro. You know, you got to do those things. I'm sorry, that's just how it is these days. So we got a Charizard and a Venusaur lead. Never seen one of these before. And I'm thinking, well, we got a Y, then a Chlorophyll. But I actually traced, the Chlorophyll there on the Venusaur, which is pretty cool. So Charizard Y is, I'm thinking, well, you're probably going to use either Air Slash or Heat Wave here. So I used Protection, just to see what move you was going to use, actually. And Venusaur actually went for Sludge Bomb there, so they're targeting my my Gardevoir here. So Heat Wave and Sludge Bomb would have I want to say Sludge Bomb probably nearly would have taken out my Gardevoir there. So Gallade takes Heat Wave really nastily, gets a Psycho cut off. Venusaur absolutely destroyed there. So that was an important KO because sometimes in the sun, Venusaur's more of a problem than, than Charizard. It's very, very fast. So they're having a bit of a think at the moment. They probably didn't expect their Venusaur to go down. And now we've got Weavile. Now, at least it's not, I'm gonna be real. At least it's not Sneasler, right? So I've got an upper hand. I thought maybe we've got a fresh Ice Shard coming and I can go for that upper hand and get rid of it. For 4 times super effective. That'd be kind of cool. And I've also got Hyper Voice. I thought, well, I could go for Hyper Voice. Let's see what I don't even know what's going to happen at the moment. I'm not sure what move it's going to use. I've got a feeling, but it also has Fake Out as well. It can learn quite a few number of moves. So going to Mega to get that extra bulk there, gets a lot of special defense. Weavile actually uses protection there. So I was like, okay, fair enough. Charizard is going to be the next attack. Upper hand, obviously, is going to fail there. I outsped... This is interesting. I outsped the Charizard. So I was running Timid, by the way, on Gardevoir, if you're wondering. And I'd say that Timid may have cost me definitely cost me the Snorlax KO. Charizard gets that's a modest nature one. That's a modest Heat Wave, and I live just straight up raw on 1 health. I mean, they were lucky to get the crit, to be honest, but I was lucky to live on 1 health. So, it evened each other out. So since there's some sun up on the field, I thought Simisear is perfect, sun's out, guns out. I use this Simisear a lot in this team. Like, I would say I use it the most as my support Pokemon in this team. I don't know what made me use it. I guess mainly because, steel types and stuff countered Gardevoir, and, having this with Heat Wave was nice, and, Taunt and Fake Out. It was very effective and helping hand as well. And then you could, use the Focus Sash if you needed to for, you could sack it, Misty Explosion, then get the Blaze Heat Wave off, and then, those sort of things. It was some fun tech and stuff like that. Okay, so we got, I was thinking about my moves a lot here. I'm like, well, they're definitely not going to protect this time. Gardevoir is done. I'll just go for Protect here. Let's give that a shot. So I got that protection off, and Poison Jab from the Weavile on the Monkey. The Monkey's poison. No poison status, so I got that. I outsped Charizard. And that's definitely a modest Charizard there. So they're going for just raw power, sacrificing a bit of speed. So Weavile looks like it just fell out of bed. And, the Heat Wave is going to get blocked by Gardevoir. I was like, yeah, the Monkey's going to take that not very well. It's not very bulky. It's pretty much just a speedy special attacker, or it could be a physical attacker too. Okay. So things are looking pretty bad here. I've got the mouse left. Actually, things are looking very bad. I've got the mouse left and a Gardevoir on 1 health. This is not good. My only hope here was to take out Charizard. So I thought, all right, something has to happen here. I've got Follow Me. Okay. So Follow Me on the mouse. And then we unleash Hyper Beam. We got to I got to nail that Charizard with a Hyper Beam. Will it take it out? I was like, it resists it, but I have to do it. I really have to do it. If I can get rid of Charizard, the coast will be clear for a clean W, hopefully. So here comes a Fake Out on the mouse. I was like, oh, okay. And they went for the mouse instead, and here comes the High Beam. This has to faint. I was like, that's the end of the battle, right? Charizard gets absolutely obliterated there. I wonder why they didn't fake me out. Maybe they thought I'd have a run at going for Protect again, I think that's what they thought there. So that play, but me too, I almost went, I'll be honest, I actually nearly went for a double Protect there. I had to really lock in there and just be like, nah, you got to believe in yourself sometimes, So Incineroar's left. Gardevoir's on 1 health. Morsoul cannot take Incineroar out. I'm living on 1 health right now. So I'm like, I got to play this, pretty close to the chest, So we got that Follow Me. All I got to do here is redirect. Wait, this happened in the first battle. Is this that? Was I battling I swear in the earlier battle, I was doing the same thing. I know it's come down to an Incineroar again, but it has. I feel like I've already narrated this part before. Man, I hope I'm not narrating if I narrate the same battle twice, I'm going to get absolutely cooked. So we got another Follow Me here. I'm ready. Hyper Beam is juiced up. The good thing about Follow Me too it actually protects Gardevoir while it's on recharge too, which is pretty fun. So this has got Fire Punch. That doesn't do a lot of damage, which is good. And I'm ready to go here. Hyper Beam actually whiffed past the Incineroar. Now, Incineroar's got a full thing of health here. I'm like, man, this could turn nasty if I miss again. This could be really bad, because if Incineroar somehow lives this, I'll be on recharge. And, you know, once Morsold stops actually sponging those attacks, it could be bad. Morsold's got Friend Guard as an ability too, which, you know, is obviously useful. So, going for Follow Me again. You've got to follow the mice around the house. And here comes the Hyper Beam. Right, okay, please take Incineroar out. I need this to faint this immediately. And Incineroar gets absolutely destroyed. And that is the end of the battle. Pretty much, we got a Gardevoir 1 HP win only on Pidgeot's channel. Very, very close at the end there. Whew, I gotta wipe my brow, you know, wipe the sweat off my brow there. That was a freaking close one. All right, let's get on to the next battle. If you're loving who's still watching at the moment, I hope you are. I hope you're loving the battles. I'm trying to really, it's like, what is it now? It's like nearly 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm trying to get some really good battles out for you all, so I hope you appreciate that effort there. Okay, so we got a Serena and a Whimsicott lead here. So Serena has got Queenly Majesty, which blocks all priority. So pretty much you want to say it's Armor Tail, right? That's pretty much what it is. So Whimsicott, I feel, is going to be the biggest threat here, because it's going to be setting up Tailwind. So I thought I can't go Fake Out to it. I guess I could go Heat Wave and then maybe Hyper Voice. But I changed my mind in the end there, because I thought maybe that Serena's going to go for me like a powerful Grass move. And Gardevoir's not that bulky on the defensive side. So I went for protection. There's the Tailwind. Triple Axle on Gardevoir, so that wouldn't have been pretty. And I got the Heat Wave off there. Heat Wave actually misses Serena, which is kind of annoying. And that is the end of the Whimsicott. So I potentially, well, look, I might have been able to get a double KO there with Heat Wave. It would have been pretty close. Anyway, so I'm sort of waiting for them to make the move there, and then they got Starmie. I'm like, oh no, this is Mega Starmie. So Mega Starmie is a problem because it's fast, it hits hard, it's got huge power, and it can run mixed as well. So you can do like quite a few things. It can have priority. It's an entire can of worms I wasn't really ready to experience, but I was like, I'm just gonna go for I go for the Mega here, and Hyper Voice should be fine. And I could go for maybe Simisear was a bit of an issue here, because I was like, it's kind of, I can take out Serena, sure. But maybe I could get a free swap into Alakazam or Morsold here. Like, Morsold might be able to tank, like, maybe the water move, and I might be able to redirect some moves here. It's got Friend Guard as well, so that could help. So, we got the Mega Starmie here. I've done a video on Mega... Actually, Mega Starmie was my very first video I did, too. So, if you're curious what Megas I've done a lot. So, the playlist will be in the comment section. Or just better yet, just go to my channel. That way it won't be, like, hidden or anything like that. Surf from Starmie is absolutely horrendous. That does so much damage to my team. And Serena sets up Grassy Terrain. Interesting. Grassy Terrain. So is this going to be like Grassy Glide or something like that? But we'll never know, because Serena got her cheeks clapped by that Simisear. Very, very nice. Starmie's also on 69 health. I just realized that. Okay, so we got another Pokemon down, which is good. So it's virtually, this is the 3-2 at the moment. So I believe I've got the lead here with the Gardevoir on the back. Now we got Heracross. So Heracross is a bit of an issue because it can have Moxie. So I'm like, this is going to be bad. And I was like, I bet you they've got Moxie. They won't have Guts, because there's no Toxic Orb and Flame Orb in the game. No, I've got 4 Pokemon. I know it looks like I'm in a strong position with the amount of Pokemon remaining, but this Starmie could quickly deplete my team easy. Simisear is not living this. The mouse can't really support Simisear at the moment because it's going to get outsped. I can really only try and go for Protect here and wait for my next Pokemon, right? So using Protection on the mouse, here comes Aqua Jet. So that was actually a key piece of information there that has Aqua Jet, right? And it's got Surf and Aqua Jet, which tells me it's either got Psychic, Zen Headbutt, or maybe Psyshock, right? That was what I got from that interaction there. So they've got no other water moves. Now, Aqua Jet's going to be an issue against Alakazam. Because this Alakazam is a Psychic Terrain, Expanding Force, Ally Switch, Dazzling Gleam, Twisted Spoon set, right? It was a support with Mega Gardevoir, you know, put the Psychic Terrain up, you know, press the A button, right? So going into Gardevoir, and I want to see what I can do here. I thought maybe I could, you know, at least see what the ability is. And it didn't have Moxie, it had Guts. I was like, oh, okay. Interesting. I thought they'd go for a different ability there. So we've got Follow. I can actually redirect Heracross's attacks, but I can't redirect Starmie's if it uses Surf. But I'm pretty confident that I can take the Surf, you know, fine. Especially Mega Gardevoir, I feel like I can take a lot of them. But I thought, I'm not going to do that at the moment. I'm going to go Protect and see what they do. So, wait, is that? Wait, that's 3. Wait. Aqua Jet, Surf, and Liquidation. So, there you guys go. That was 3 water moves. I was like, man. I guess they're trying to make use of its high attack and special attack too. But this thing was juiced up. So like, they must have they have to have a psychic move to the last one. Sure they don't have what's another water move this thing gets? Waterfall? No, there's no point having this. They've got a psychic moves. I know that. So I thought, all right. Heracross is going to go for... I'm going to put a big target on the field here, right? Alakazam is going to be bait for Heracross with like Mega Horn or whatever like that. I'll go Ally Switch on Alakazam, go into the Gardevoir, and, you know, this may even try and Aqua Jet my huge power Aqua Jet my Alakazam. And, you know, that might actually faint it, you know, because Alakazam is extremely frail. So I gave this a try. We got the Ally Switch off here. So Ally Switch swaps both Pokemon on the field. It's really cool. It's priority too. I love Ally Switch. Here comes the Aqua Jet. I had a feeling that would have easily have taken out Alakazam. Here comes the Hyper Voice. Absolutely dominated. So perfection play there, taking the Heracross out, doing incredible damage to Starmie. Starmie now is in a bad place because it can't attack both Pokemon unless it's Surf. But these Pokemon have got better special defense and, you know, than health as well. They're going to forfeit, and that is the W there. So Ally Switch really helping there at the end for sure. You know, just tanking that move. Okay, so let's get on to the next battle here. I've still got we got another 3 or 4 battles. I like to, you know, we get a lot of battles. Oh, this was an interesting one. So we've got 2 possible Pokemon. Like, I've seen a few of these things. If you've played a few ranked battles or just battles in general, you'll see that there's a lot of self-destruct Pokemon around here. So this team, I was pretty convinced was like an explosion team. Would you guys like to see a explosion-based team? I think that could be really cool because there are a few Pokemon in this game, and I can see what, you know, strategy I got. Because I did have Misty Explosion on this team, but, you know, one directly around Explosion would be kind of cool. Is there any damp Pokemon in the game? Is Gold? Oh, he could have like Explosion. Now, that'd be interesting. I have to see what I can do with that. So first things first, we're going to clap them Snorlax cheeks. And we've got an explosion from Gardevoir. So I had a bit of a feeling it would have that. Or in fact, they've probably like both of them got it, right? So Explosion does a really huge chunk of damage there to Snorlax. And I've got the Sash. So I was never worried. Now, the thing that they've done now is they put Simisear in Blaze range. And this Heat Wave is only going to drop once. And it's going to drop hard, I can tell you that. The problem is Snorlax has probably got thick fat. So it's not going to do so well there. So they sacked one of their Pokemon and nearly 2, but they nearly took out one of mine too. So they're sort of thinking about this play for a long time. So I was thinking, what could they possibly do if they've got an explosion team? They're going to have to be out, like Snorlax is going to be out like a sacrifice Pokemon, and their one coming in is going to be the explosion Pokemon too. Is that what they're going to go for there? Or they've got some way of... you know, flinching me or doing something along those lines too. They thought about this play for a very, very long time. At least you get to see the whole stadium. This stadium actually reminds me a lot of Sword and Shield. If you've noticed, these animations are pretty much Sword and Shield animations from the game. Like, if you have a like true look at it. So now we've got the Sylveon coming. It's like, I missed the explosion, or are we going for Hyper Voice this time? So we got, I got Protect here, but I thought, oh, I could go... I could Taunt, or I could leave that for later for Fake Out, you know? I wasn't really sure what I should do. Like, or maybe I'd just go Mega Evolve and Hyper Beam Sylveon. Just get it off the field, you know what I mean? That could be, and then go for Heat Wave or Helping Hand Hyper Beam. It's like, nah, I'm gonna go for Sylveon. Let's get rid of it. I think it's gonna go for Misty Explosion, right? So we're going to get that Mega, and we're going to go for Hyper Beam. I tried to singular as many targets as I could with Hyper Beam, you know, well within like range there, where it wouldn't cost me the battle. Okay, so getting that around standing ovation there for Gardevoir. Oh wait, what is that? That's a Choice Scarf Sylveon. Okay, so we got a Choice Scarf. They didn't get Tailwind. No, they didn't. That was a Choice Scarf Sylveon. Here comes the Hyper Beam, and it's going to get unleashed. Trust me. Now, since that's Choice Scarf, that has to be running something like max. That's definitely running max speed and max special attack. So it's going to have 0 bulk altogether. But I want to say, even with bulk, that wasn't living helping hand. Snorlax self-destructs, and Gardevoir, unfortunately, is going to take the brunt of it. So that's all the Pokemon. They're all off the field now. Oh man, so Snorlax is down. That Choice Scarf Sylveon kind of messed me up there. I actually really hope that, you know, that backdrop we've got here, I hope they actually have introduced new, you know, stage, you know, in Scarlet and Violet, hey, we had that crappy schoolyard for like 2 years or whatever, and then we got ones after that. I hope they do introduce some other like new ones in there, because that'd be cool. So we got Sylveon there, so you know you can battle in a different place, kind of like Battle Revolution. Battle Revolution's a great game. So Belly Bolt is the last Pokemon, which I was happy about. I was like, if they bring Hydreigon in, it's not going to be, you know, it's going to be easy. But now I was like, ooh, we might be able to get a boom here. But you got to watch out for Belly Bolt, because this Pokemon is super thick, and I don't want to go boom and be left with the mice with only Super Fang. So that would be very, very bad. So I actually wanted to test the waters here. I thought I go Hyper Voice, we'll see the damage on the Belly Bolt, and you know, go from there, right? So Super Fang. I don't know how you miss a Belly Bolt. Look at the size of it. Look at its stomach. So, yeah, that does a lot of damage. So we got that Electromorphosis, and it's going to use Parabolic Charge. That actually did pretty nice, a chunk of damage there. And it healed itself a lot too. Like, Parabolic Charge gives 50% back, so it's a big lot of healing. So I thought, well, I'm in range to miss the Explosion. I could go for it, but if I go for it, and this thing lives on like 2 health, I actually can never win this. So that's gonna be probably the worst thing I could go for. I kind of wish I had Hyper Beam on this deck so I could finish it off with, you know, true style there. So I thought, all right, well, I guess I could just go Super Fang and then Hyper Voice on it, just in case, you know. But I was maybe I was just playing it too safe. But you know, things have happened to me. Like I've done, like, you know, been a smart ass and done plays like that before, and the Pokemon's lived on 1 health, and I've had no attacking moves and stuff like that. When I tried to troll them, then ended up getting trolled at the end. Anyway, that is the end of Belly Bolt there, and that was a rather interesting battle, like at an Explosion team. Well, Explosion, you know, I'd say they have other moves as well, but they also had Explosion. All right, we got a couple of casual battles here. I like throwing a few of these in because they're interesting too, because you can see different Pokemon. All right, so we got an Archaludon and a Pidgeot lead here. So I was like, oh, we might get a Mega Pidgeot, which is interesting. So if you're enjoying yourself, if you're still watching the video, I hope you're enjoying it. Let's get some likes on today's video. Hope you, you know, what Mega would you like? If you've got any Megas I haven't done, give me some strats. I'd like to see your strats you've cooked up. I always read my comments too, so if you've got a question or anything, I will reply. I do like to read my comments and reply and stuff like that. All right, so we got a Mega Gardevoir here, and I feel like this matchup is pretty good because there's a no-guard Pokemon if it is a Mega. You know, that means I can't miss Hyper Beam. So first things first, we're going to go for Fake Out, and it, you know, it wasn't a Mega Pidgeot. So okay. So I went for Hyper Voice, almost dropped them, both of them there. Now, the Archaludon's got stamina, Pidgeot's going to flinch, and we've got a Flash Cannon here. Flash Cannon does a lot of damage to me. Just live there on 11 health. It was a close thing, right? Very, very close thing. So I'm thinking modest, have to be modest, Archaludon. So I've got Helping Hand. I thought, well, I could go Helping Hand, or I could go Heat Wave as well. Like, I could do Heat Wave, and then I could go for Protect here, because, you know, Heat Wave's going to do a lot to, you know, it should take the Pidgeot out, and then I feel like Archaludon is like hyper-focusing this Gardevoir, and they're not even, like, worried about the monkey at all. So I thought, this is good. I'll take advantage of them underestimating the monkey. So Heat Wave misses Archaludon. I was like, of course. But it still does hit the Pidgeot, and Pidgeot's going to faint there. So that is the end of the Pidgeot. I think Pidgeot just goes gold when it's when it's like shiny Mega, right? So Flash Gun is going to hit the Protect, which is cool, and we got a free turn of Gardevoir sticking around. So I was like, I'm going to try and see if I can keep Gardevoir alive for the rest of this battle with Simisear. Let's see, let's see if I can do it. Next Pokemon was Tauros Paldea Water. Now this Pokemon's fairly fast. I thought, well, I could go Helping Hand, and then I could Heat Wave, or I could Helping Hand. I was like, just in case it outspeeds me, this could be bad. Like, I might outspeed it because I've got Timid Nature on this thing, but if I don't, I'd like to get an attack off at least on Archaludon, because the battle could turn it around like really, really quickly. I could go from having like 4 Pokemon down to like 2. So Heat Wave does a great amount of damage there, but it was a Zoroark. They were trying to trick me with Zoroark. I see what they're doing there. So another stamina boost for Archaludon, but that is not going to matter because Hyper Voice is going to take them both out. So I think that's a sweep with Gardevoir. Well, is like Simi Gardevoir, right? I call it the Simi Gardevoir combination. And yeah, that's going to be the end of battle. They forfeited there. So, Simisear doing well. Very, very good support Pokemon. Okay, let's get on to the next one. This was actually a pretty fun battle, this next one. I think we got 2 more battles left as well. Okay, now this first matchup was pretty interesting. So we had a Gyarados and a Kingambit. So like, okay, so Defiant Kingambit. So he had Intimidate, but the thing is, I was like, oh no, wait, this is bad because I'm gonna trace it and give them, but it traced Supreme Overlord. I was like, oh, okay, so it doesn't have Defiant to start with, so I was worried about nothing, right? I don't have to worry about tracing Intimidate, maybe later on anymore. So Supreme Overlord at the first Pokemon, which is interesting. I was like, I wonder what they're trying to do with this, right? Because normally you leave that to last, so, more Pokemon fainted, more power and stuff like that. So Gyarados is a pretty bulky special defensive Pokemon. It's got some good bulk there. I figured that Hyper Voice would be a 2-hit KO, and then Gallade would be able to take out King Toilet like easily, one shot. That was my thought process here at the moment. Now, they were thinking about this for a lot. I'm like, bro, it's a casual battle, like we're not playing for Sheep Station. That mega Omni Ring is huge. Like, I'm just having a look how big it is. It's like one of those. I don't know, it's like one of those McDonald's toys you put on your arm and stuff. It's like absolutely bad. When you're a kid, you put it on your arm. It's bad. Anyway, so I'm going to go for Hyper Voice. Good damage there. King Toilet's got that berry. So it's going to be able to, live that. Here comes Waterfall on Gyarados. And that actually hits me pretty hard. So that's a 2-hit KO. I just Sacred Sword of Kingambit because I didn't want my Gardevoir fainting to Iron Head there. So that's now a bit of an odd start, though, with Kingambit out the front. I wonder what the thought process was, was there. So Gyarados is within range to take out here, which is fine. And we're sort of just waiting on for them to make the move. Actually, I kind of like this training background. Looks good. Might actually refer it to the other one. So we've got Gengar now. So I thought, all right, well, is this going to be Mega Gyarados or is it going to be Mega Gengar? I was thinking more Mega Gengar. Now, looking at their team, they had a Pikachu and a Azumarill and a Garchomp as the other choices too. So I was like, they don't have Pikachu. There's no way they brought Pikachu along. So I guess the other one is probably going to be Garchomp. So that won't be so hard unless I get Flinch, right? And this is going to be Mega Gengar. So in this team matchup, I actually brought Morsold and I brought Follow Me Morsold. So I thought if this Gengar does use like Shadow Ball or inclined to use Shadow Ball, I could at least redirect that. But I wasn't 100% sure because why would they just not go for, Sludge Bomb, right? That was what I was thinking anyway. So my opponent finally pressed the A button and I'm going to be swapping that into Morsold. I thought, well, I might swap into a Shadow Ball. Let's see, right? I have a feeling it's probably not going to work. And the best I can do there is give a Friend Guard to the Gardevoir so it can tank the moves a little bit better. Right, we got that Mega Gengar. Now, this Mega Gengar actually did not have Sludge Bomb at all. It actually had Sludge Wave. So I was like, oh, okay. Now, Sludge Wave is a good move on it. It's more powerful in terms of power, but it hits the ally. And they actually fainted their own Gyarados. They didn't faint it, but they actually hit their Gyarados and poisoned it, causing it to faint. And really, I got out of that matchup scot-free. I mean, I know I took a bit of damage with the mice, but that was pretty good for me. So now I'm thinking to myself, are they going to go for Sludge Wave again? They've got one more Pokemon. depending on what the Pokemon is, and it was Pikachu, I'm like, there's no way they're going to go for, they're not going to sack the Pikachu. They're going to go for, I reckon they're going to go for Shadow Ball here. Like, there's a very, very high chance, unless, you know, if they do, well, they get rid of their only Pokemon, you know, only other Pokemon there. So I was thinking, I go Follow Me, I redirect the Shadow Ball, and then I go for Expanding Force. Take the Mega Gengar out, then try and go for Hyper Beam on Pikachu, right? So that was the plan. So wiggling that finger, hoping for the Shadow Ball. There it is. So pretty much once I determined what their moveset was, I had a pretty strong feeling that they wouldn't just sack off their ally Pokemon. Mega Gengar completely destroyed there. So the mice coming in clutch there. Very, very, very good for redirecting Shadow Balls and Ghost moves. So Pikachu, Grass Knot? Did they try and disrespect me with Grass Knot? So I was like, that's it, you know. You're gonna try and disrespect me with Grass Knot? I'm gonna use Hyper here. So I've got Follow Me. I don't think this gets Helping. It might get Helping Out. I can't remember. But anyway, I was like, I'll use After You on. I'll show you guys what After You is if you don't know. This is what it looks like. So let's say I'm faster than Pikachu with Morphle, but Gardevoir's not faster than Pikachu, right? That makes you attack right afterwards, and then you can attack. So it's a pretty cool move. Here comes a Hyper. Oh, damn. That was absolutely brutal. Well, that is the end of Pikachu. You know, that's why Ash had to quit the anime, you know, because Pikachu actually died. It was like bye-bye Butterfree, but, you know, the darkened version. All right, so we've got one more battle to go here. I hope you're enjoying everything. It has been fun spamming Hyper Beam as much as I can. Tomorrow, I'll give you a clue what tomorrow's video is going to be, all right? It's going to be a new Mega, not an old Mega, a new Mega. So I've been trying to mix them up, so like new ones, old ones, stuff like that. So you don't know what I'm doing, all right? I'm gonna make you surprised. Okay, another Gyarados. This was actually a good battle. Like this is an interesting battle. So we had a Gyarados and a Dragonite lead. Intimidates all round. Now that was actually quite a fortuitous turn for me because I actually traced an Intimidate, and I got that Intimidate off against the Gyarados and Dragonite. So that was really good if they're both physical sets. Maybe the Dragonite isn't. It's a Mega Dragonite, but, you know, if it's got like carrying a physical move, say maybe E-Speed, that could be beneficial. So I'm waiting for... This bit took a while. I think they were thinking like, man, what am I going to do? You know, both my physical Pokemon just got intimidated. I'm versing a Simisear. I'm getting a bit scared, you know, that sort of thing. I was ready to take this Dragonite and Gyarados on with the mighty Simisear, you know. I might use one of the monkeys in my next team as well. They're actually kind of fire. Like, okay, so we got that Mega Evolution here, and I'm gonna pretty much, I don't even need it to really do too. I could just go for Hyper Voice with Gardevoir, right, for some big damage. But first things first, let's get rid of Multiscale and Dragonite. That's important. So that's where this came in handy too. Gyarados has got Bright Powder? What? Okay, so Bright Powder Gyarados only on people like Chandelier. So I'm like, what is this scummy set? I was like, I hope it's not Dragon Dance because this could be very bad. But it used Sandstorm. I'm like, what is this? Is this a Pip Night viewer? So we've got some sand there. They got that sandy Gyarados. Props for that. I was like, I wonder what they're trying to do here with sand. I mean, obviously they're setting up one of their other Pokemon. I was curious. Then they sent a Venusaur. I'm like, wait, are they going to try and use a sand weather ball? They're using Venusaur on the sand. So, you know, I got to give them respect for that. So I've got Heat Wave, and I've also got Hyper Voice here. So Hyper Voice or Hyper Beam. I was like, nah, I really want to go for Hyper Beam on Gyarados. I want to see if I can take this thing out. Like, I want to see that damage, you know. Gyarados, I feel like, might be a tanky set. It's like a setup set because it had Sandstorm. So we got Mega Venusaur. Ooh, so Mega Venusaur, when it evolves, gets Thick Fat. So that's going to be very resistant to my, more resistant to, I should say, to my Fire-type moves. So I got the Helping Hand up. I got the Hyper Beam off. It didn't miss or anything like that. I'm like, all right, bye-bye Gyarados. This is for the Bright Powder. And absolutely, like, demolished. Like, Gyarados, there's going to be no more Magic Up, you know, forever. You know, they're all gone now. So that's gone. Now we got a Sludge Bomb. I was like, I probably won't live that. And I did live it, but the sand is up. It's like, okay, it's a shame the sand was up. And then I got poisoned as well. It was destined to happen, right? So Gardevoir, perfect play going for Hyper Beam there because I was never living that turn. That's what I sort of thought to him. Like, I'm probably going to get targeted here. So they've got a Vaporeon and a Cellrock and a Vivillon left. What's that Vivillon pattern? I forgot it. Is that Savannah? I think it's Savannah. No, any Vivillon lovers out there? What's that pattern? Okay, we've got Vaporeon. I think I like this. I think it's the snowy one or the dusty one the most. Okay, so Vaporeon now. Vaporeon is quite a good setup mon. So I don't want this having anything like, say, Acid Armor or Stored Power. So, you know, those sort of, like, bulky Stoli sets. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to taunt the Vaporeon. And then Vaporeon pretty much shouldn't be able to do a lot. And then, you know, focus on this Venusaur getting some damage. So go for the taunt there on Vaporeon. Like, just a good little moveset, this one. On Simisear. And they tried Rain Dance. Like, oh, they tried the Rain Dance Weather Ball. And you know what they're doing too? They were going to try and use Hydration with Rest. So that was like, I'm so glad I had Taunt. If I didn't have Simisear, I was up the creek without a paddle, right? So I got a Mystical Fire off on the Venusaur, dropping that special attack. That was important. Very, very important. So I thought, well, okay. Vaporeon has some... I know it's got some sort of water move. And, you know, my Simisear is not going to like that one little bit. I need to get in a Pokemon to get rid of Vaporeon probably now before it gets untaunted and starts all this, I don't know, recovery and stuff like that. That's what I was thinking. So I had Helping Hand. I thought, it's time for Boom. It's time to go for a Boom in the room. So there's only got 2 Pokemon. I thought, this is good, right? Because I've got 1 Pokemon left. We come in clutch at the end or we take a fat L, all right? I wasn't sure, but I was ready to give this a go, you know? After the last one disaster, I wanted to, you know, redeem myself here. It's a confusion set. Simisear. Well, I mean, let's be real. If it was water pulse, water gun, Simisear was going to faint to that. Maybe it was like some scumbag confusion set. Venusaur's going for the big suck there, but, you know, Sylveon's pretty thick on the special side, so you know, we did drop the special attack too. So, Misty Explosion. This time it's going to hit both of them. I don't have an ally or anything, which is really good, actually. That was incredible damage there. Really good damage. I was happy with that. So the last Pokemon I brought that I brought to this battle was actually Gallade. Because I seen that Venusaur in there and I thought that might be a problem if I don't have, say, you know, Psycho Cut right. I was going to bring Alakazam along, but I'm glad I brought this along. This is a lot more bulkier. Okay, so Gallade, I thought, right, I can deal with Venusaur. But I've got to get rid of this Vaporeon because this thing like gets Rain Dance up on Rest and stuff. It's going to be all over Red Rover, you know. So I'm waiting for them to make their move. I would say like Venusaur is either going to try have a run at a Sludge Bomb or they're going to continue to go for Giga Drain to try and give it health back, right? So Vaporeon's dead. That sand, I felt like this sand actually hindered them a lot more than it helped them, really. So another Giga Drain there. That's doing pretty good damage, but, you know, this has a reasonable special stat. So Venusaur getting a bit of health back there. The sand has finally gone. So I'm like, all right, Venusaur's got over 50% health here. It is a bulky Pokemon, but I've got a Scope Lens. I've got Sharpness and Psycho Cut, which is a good combination there for Sharpness. And this is going to hit hard. This should do tons of damage, right? So go for that Psycho Cut, and Venusaur is down. And that's it. That is all the battles there. I had more battles, but that, you know, we're getting up to an hour here. So I hope you enjoyed it. Let's get some likes. Let's get some comments, people. And as promised, here's my team as well if you want to give it a go. Is anyone going to give my Simisear set a go? Give it a go. Like, it's fun, you know. It has some, you know, it may not be the greatest in the world, but it actually won me quite a few battles. So here is the exact items and moves there. So, you know, you've got everything there. Gardevoir's pretty straightforward, but I've got the, you know, the Hyper Beam on it. And this was quite a hyper offensive team too. So quite a lot of 32-32s, which is unusual for doubles mostly, but that's how it worked out today. All right, that's about it. Hope you enjoyed it. Peace out.